Hi, good morning. It's Gene from maverickstar Observatory. Oh dear, where do we begin today? It's a bit of a turning point for the observatory. We have lost probably one of our biggest supporters financially, that has been with us for over a year, supported us with around about 400 to 600 sterling every month. So we've took a big hit, and there's been another one as well we've not heard of for a while, and I suspect that that's the same case. So we are down probably around about 800 sterling a month now. So it is a big marking point and turning point for our observatory because of these losses. It is going to make it really difficult to expand for the foreseeable future until somebody, fills those big boots up for us. It's been a real battle, I've got to say this, over the last 5 years. Only one person can do so much, and in those 5 years, I've pushed myself to learn new skills in order to obtain and keep us on the direction that we needed to go on, learning programming, learning electronics, and hours and hours of research looking into the topic of the magnetic pole reversal, climate, and a lot of other things. And we have definitely peaked many times on the radar with these big organisations, and I believe that they would love nothing more to hear today that we are losing our funding to keeping this observatory going. We got to the 5-mile marker knowing that there was just probably 3 miles left. I'm talking about the 40-degree mark, where we really can test our theory based on those experiments that we conducted with the magnets, moving from the strong field lines into the weak field lines, and therefore migrating a lot faster. And we have to date fell short of getting some equipment out into Brazil and Russia, and I don't doubt that could be possible in the future, but with funding now getting torn to shreds, it's leaving us in a bleak situation. And at the moment it does seem like these organisations, and I haven't really told you guys just how much pressure we've had put on us, but I have showed you on a few occasions the level which they have stooped to in driving down the morale of the subscribers on this channel. And we've also had the website hacked by obviously professionals that have removed CO2 data. So there is not just obvious actions where they have tried to restrict information to you guys, but also tried to silence us in a certain few arenas, like the magnetic pole reversal. You have to ask yourself the question, why are they picking on an observatory that is telling the public about CO2 and the magnetic pole reversal? And it has to come back to you guys, as there must be truth in what I'm saying here, otherwise I would just be dust on their shoes. So we're at a crunch time here. We need to either really pick up the level of support for the channel, or we need to find a different direction. I've always tried to keep corporate funding away from the channel. I've always tried to keep it publicly funded. And I know it's hard for you guys because you pay your taxes to your governments already that have these organisations. It must be frustrating because the organisations are not always freely coming forward with the information which is relevant. They give us some pacified information which is on the topic, but not really cutting down to the meat of the topic. They like to always give us the scraps or the fat off the meat, and it's not good enough. It's not really what any of us want. We want the details. We're all adults. We can angle the truth. If it's a catastrophe we're facing down the road, then so be it. We want to know exactly where we stand. And this is the sort of thing that they are stopping people getting hold of, and it's something that we have been to this day able to provide. I mean, tomorrow is a big day for us, as you know. It's the 17th. We pull the data out of the Trimag and the magnetosphere sensor here, and we always, throughout the month, have a steady flow of information coming from our magnetometers spread around the world now. And you have to ask yourself the question, why do they want to target this observatory? Why do they want to stop the information getting through to you guys? Why do they want to come onto my homepage of my own private website and remove data? And it's not just data that we've had removed recently. We're having files messed about with and information messed about with. They're making it look like, you know, there is a breakdown in the server, but it's clearly not the case. It's tampering, and you know, now more than ever. Why is that? Is it because they are aware of also what we're aware here, and they know that time is very short? They've got a certain amount of time to condition the global public into what agenda they want in order to secure their continuity of their corrupt dark force government, as opposed to allowing people to the light and getting information and the truth. I've said it many times. We're facing a lot of battles, and we're facing a lot of battles on the psychological level. You know, we are in a situation where people would rather believe in a pack of lies as opposed to believe in the truth. There are people like the Extinction Rebellion group, which I believe are funded by these lobbyists, and you know, they are not you know, coming forward with the truth. They seem to have a 180 degree account for the truth on really what is taking place with CO2. If you've been following our channel, you know the truth on CO2. If you've been following our channel, you know why the climate is behaving the way it is, and the seasons have become unpredictable because of the levels of cosmic radiation, which are slowly and gradually going to be on the increase due to two things: a grand solar minimum, a shrinkage of the heliosphere allowing more cosmic rays in, and our primary defence against cosmic rays here back on Earth, our magnetosphere, weakening as a result of a pole shift. And adding to this, an overdue magnetic reversal, and also a dwindling number of active erupting volcanoes to date. I can't understand the mentality of somebody that is not interested in this planet when every day they are so reliant on it. Every day, if there is no oxygen in the atmosphere, you die. Every day, if the sun doesn't come up, you die. Every day, if a certain amount of solar radiation doesn't hit the surface of our Earth, we go back into an ice age. There is a massive reduction on the arable cropping lands on our Earth, and you die. If the magnetosphere collapses continuously, you die, full stop, along with every other biodiversity on this planet. And that is why it has been so passionate for me to continue struggling along every month, trying to get the information to people so that they realise that they shouldn't be taking this Earth for granted. We do, as a species, need to take responsibility for our actions. You know, what we're seeing right now is a lot of corruption taking place, and because that corruption is being taken place from higher levels of government, it is setting precedents at people further down the chain. And it goes back down to people like in Brazil, where the rainforest is, and they think it's a good idea because they hear on the news about the forest fires in places like America and California. It's a good idea to scrub the forest, and you know, in turn, months later, instead of replanting those trees where the forest burnt down over millions of hectares, what they're doing is using it for agricultural purposes. They're changing the use of the land from dense rainforests to now grazing pastures, and in turn destroying massive ecosystems. That's why I say, if you don't care about the planet you live on, then what does that say about you when you look at yourself in the mirror? You know, without this planet, you do not exist. There is no reflection in that mirror. You know, as a scientist, I'm really passionate about what I do, but you know, when I'm under threat, like we face today, where the security of long-term, constant supporters through their circumstances have to now, you know, say, sorry Gene, we can no longer, you know, keep you going with this due to XYZ. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty, and I'm certainly not going to mention names. I am very grateful for the help and support that we have had off one or two people recently that have had to, you know, make hard decisions. But at the same time, it is putting our little operation of truth out of business. And, you know, when the platform's gone, it's gone. It's as simple as that. We are very much different to a lot of other YouTube channels, and some of the information that we provide on this website is bespoke to you guys only. You won't find other YouTubers talking about the subjects as well as backing it up with using the scientific method of getting the data via equipment. That's the difference between us and those. And yet, you know, I see these channels getting supported a lot more heavier than what we are here. It's really unfair. This world we live in is so unjust. But this is the way things are going, and it's down to people to make the decision on what they want to keep now and what they're prepared to lose. And, you know, I've heard people say, oh, well, you know what, you're going to go before we get rid of Netflix. That really tells you the mentality of people today, because that is what rather they would watch. An uninformative selection of old movies as opposed to data on current events that really do affect them. And if we think that that's not the case, if we take for granted that the sun's coming up every day, well, let me tell you something. The sun has come up for every day over the last 33 years, but in a different way. And the only reason you know why that is because you've probably been following channels like mine, and you know that the magnetic pole is reversing and what rate it's reversing because you follow channels like mine, and we have the equipment to, you know, accurately predict where that is migrating to and at what rate it is, and you know, we can make forecasts and predictions on that, as well as having a one-stop shop on our website for all the other anomalies that you might be interested in. That's what we've tried to do here for you guys. But without people who are determined to stand in the line with us against all what's going on now, and trust me, we're getting more flack now from all these media, multimedia companies and mainstream media companies. You know, they just want to remove people like us. We're making them look bad on the budget that we're using, yeah, which is pennies and pounds compared to the millions of pounds that they're getting. We're beating them to the table with important information before they do, and even probably in some cases know themselves. If it weren't for our channel this year in January, you know, who knows how long it would have been before they'd have updated the dates on their new magnetic anomaly charts. So we provide a service that I think is valuable. You know, it's just frustrating for me as to why people don't see it the same way, and you know, go that little bit further and push a little bit of support our way. You know, when it's so heartbreaking, guys. I just can't, you know, bring it home to you. You know, the level of not just enthusiasm but hours work that has gone into this to get it this far, and you know, to see the finish line in the not too distant future, to see that we're probably not even going to make it there because of enthusiasm from others is dwindling away. You know, the bottom line is today with this video is, you know, we need support, and the links are down there in the description, and you can support us on Patreon if you want to become one of our patrons. But the big thing is, we've took a massive loss this month, guys. And we're only going to get that back with real serious, enthusiastic people that really care about what we've been doing here for the last 10 years on this channel. That's the only way we're going to continue moving forward. And I think we should show them that they are not going to remove our observatory by the means of restricting freedom of information and freedom of speech, and purposely removing important data which sets the truth. You know, we're almost at war with these, and the only way we're going to continue fighting is if we get regularly rearmed with some form of fun. So guys, the links are down there, and you know, the only other thing I can say is you know, just make the best of what you've got right now and hang on to whatever you can, because if we don't start sticking together, we're all going to lose. We're all going to be big losers at the end of the day. Okay, as always, bye for now.